Hello soulmates, welcome to a new tutorial video. On this video, we'll be making this complete outfit, okay? The measurements you need are your normal basic bodice for a gown, right? So you need your shoulder measurements, your shoulder slope, from your shoulder to your bust line, your shoulder to your half cut or your half length, then your shoulder to your hip line, and your shoulder to the length of your gown, okay? Now, for the neck part, because we are going to be putting a collar for this design, right? We are going to be deepening the neck by 1 inch. Okay, you're going to deepen the neck by 1 inch. Okay, so I've already cut my pattern for the front and back of my gown. Okay, so now I'm going to just cut out the neck part. So guys, please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click on the subscription button and subscribe, like, share, and engage on the videos. Okay, I upload tutorials every day here on YouTube. So now we've gotten our bodies, we're going to cut out this pattern on our fabric. Alright? Guys, please remember this is just your basic body gown bodies measurement. Okay? So now we're going to cut this on our pattern paper, on our main fabric. So I've cut it on my main fabric. Can you see the front and the back? I've notched the zipper allowance area for the back. Now it's time for us to draw the darts for this dress. Now, if you're using a material that is stretchy, you don't need to draw that, okay? But if you're using maybe a cotton material or a material that is not stretchy, then you draw your darts. So let me teach you how to draw a dart for a gown. So the first thing you need to do is to, first of all, you have to notch the center point of your gown. I'm notching it because of the design on this dress, one, and then we're going to be working with the center point. So at your center point, you have to mark your nipple to nipple divided by 4. So if your nipple to nipple is 8, divided by 2 is 4, then you mark 4. Then from your shoulder slope, you come down 1 inch below your bust point, right? You mark your bust point line. You come down 1 inch below your bust point. Then, when you come down 1 inch below your bust point, you mark your hip line. Can you see? Then go 1 inch or up. Go 1 inch above your hip line, and then you connect the lines. See what I said? Your bust span divided by 2. You get 4. You mark a straight line. Then on your bust line, you come down by 1 inch, right? You mark it. On your hip line, you go up by 1 inch, and then you connect the lines. That's where you're going to be drawing your darts. Now you ask me, why are we using the nipple to nipple? We're using that nipple to nipple measurement so that your dart will be directly under your bust point. And we are coming down by 1 inch so that the dart will not be on your breast. It's not going to hold your breast. Can you see that the gown is having like a breast-like shape on top? Then we are coming up from the hip line by 1 inch because your dart is not meant to compress your hip. Alright, it's meant to allow your hip to stay. So after that, you do the same thing for the back. Now you're going to mark that same nipple to nipple, which is from the zipper allowance area. From the zipper allowance area. So if your zipper allowance is 1 inch, so from that 1 inch, you mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. You mark it, draw a straight line. Then your hip line, you go up by 1 inch. Your bust line, you come down by 1 inch, and then you connect the line. Please hope you understand this that part. You know the importance of that is to give your dress fitting. If you don't put that on your outfit will just be plain. It won't have shape. Okay? So now, when we are done with the front dart and the back dart, the next thing we are going to do is to join the shoulders. Alright? You join the shoulders of your dress. Can you see? So when you're done joining the shoulders, this is how your outfit is going to look. This is the first step. Now, the next step we are going to be working with, we'll be working with the design. Now, I want to teach us something. When you're drawing your darts, make sure that your dart is ½ inch wide. That's the midpoint of your dart. Can you see what I'm saying? From the beginning, you then start curving it as if you're creating a boat or an arc. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if you want to draw your breast dart for the front and for the back, this is how your darts should look for your gown, mainly for your gowns. Okay, your dart should be half-inch wide. Half-inch wide. Do you understand? Let me just explain it with a paper. So let's say this is your dart leg, right? So from the beginning of your dart leg, you first of all start coming down straight and then you connect it to your half an inch. So when you make sew your dart for your gown, it should be like this, like a boat. It should be half-inch wide. Please hope you understand. You have to practice this and practice this to get it. This is in order for you to make a perfect dart. So now let's draft out the design for the center part. If you look at the design, right, it has not ruffles. It has, yes, it has pleated ruffles and then a fabric in the middle. Now to get it, you measure 1 inch below your neckline. You measure 1 inch below your neckline and mark it. Then you get your desired fabric that you want to work with. You close it. This desired fabric, it depends on how wide you want it to be. But I advise the fabric is like 3 inches wide or 4 inches wide so that when you're pleating it, it will look nice. So you turn up your fabric like so. I left the bottom part because we're still going to fold the bottom part, okay? And make sure your fabric is 2 times longer than the length of your gown. Make sure the long strip fabric you're getting is 2 times longer than the length of your gown. The reason is because we're going to be pleating it, and you know while we're pleating it, the length is reducing. Okay, so you're going to pleat it as if you're making pleats now, the way we make pleats for our skirts, right? So you start pleating it. Now, when you're pleating it, you're going to sew the center points. All right? So you just start pleating it. You just have to be patient. You pleat it one after the other. And then you sew a straight. As you're pleating it, you're sewing it immediately. So if you know you cannot be pleating and sewing, maybe you can first of all pleat, use your pins to hold it down before you sew. Now you get your another fabric for the design in the middle, right? Your fabric should be 1.5 inches wide. It shouldn't be so wide because we're going to still turn it up. All right. So I've pleated the fabric, the first fabric. Can you see what I mean? When you're pleating it, you're sewing it. Can you see how it looks? So I've pleated it and then I've turned up the Ankara fabric that we're going to be placing in the middle. Can you see? I turned it up. Now, this is what we're going to do. You're going to place the Ankara fabric on that midpoint, that middle line we used to join the pleats, and then you pin it down. You first of all pin it down. Now, why are you pinning it down? So that it will stay. Do you get? So that when you're attaching it to your fabric, it's not going to be shifting. All right? So now, can you see? In this tutorial, I came down by half inch, but when you're making yours, please come down by 1 inch so that you have space to fix your collar. Okay? Come down from the neckline by 1 inch. That's where you start fixing your pleats. Okay? Come down by 1 inch. So you place your fabric like so. Can you see that the pleat is longer than the main fabric? It's better is longer than it to be shorter. Okay, you don't need to start joining material. Okay, then you get your Ankara fabric that you're going to be placing in the midpoint, and then you pin it to the outfit. You pin it to the front part of your gown. Hope you understand this part. You pin it to the front part of your gown. Can you see? Please, you have to pin it first before sewing, okay? So guys, please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click on the subscription button and subscribe, guys. So, I'm just pinning it to the center point of our fabric. Please, if you have any question at this stage, let me know in the comment section so that I'll explain better, okay? So when you're done pinning it, then you now take it to your machine and then you sew it to your main fabric. Do you get? So the first step is to make the pleats. The second step is to turn up the Ankara fabric or any fabric you'll be using as the center middle design. Then you place the both designs on your fabric and pin it down, and then you sew it to your main front bodice. Do you understand? So I'm done sewing it. Can you see how it's looking? Can you see how firm it's looking? Now, when you're working with your pleats, please remember to iron. All right, remember to iron. Now, this is how we got the front design of this beautiful dress. Now, the next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to get the collar. Okay, some people are always scared of sewing outfits with collar. I'm going to show you a very simple means of getting it. So you fold your material like so. Remember, I notch the center point of the neckline. I notch the midpoint, the center. So I'm going to fold it like so to get the center point. Can you see? And the center front and the side front, side and center back. Sorry, the center front and the center back. So I'm just going to pin it up. All right. You can also pin that shoulder area too if yours is shifting. Okay. Then you get your pattern paper. First of all, draft your collar on pattern paper before you transfer it on your main fabric, please. So you place the neckline like so. Can you see? You place your neckline like so, and then you just trace out the neckline. Can you see how simple it is? You trace out the neckline on your pattern paper like so. Now, always remember to mark that midpoint. The midpoint is the point that connects your center front to your center back. Right? Remember to mark it. And remember to label your center front and your center back. Now, you determine how long you want your collar to be. So, for this tutorial, I'm making my collar 2 inches wide. But you can make yours 2.5. You can make yours 3 inches, 4 inches. Depends on how wide you want it, okay? So I've marked the line for the length of the collar for the front. I'm going to mark the length of the collar from the back. Now, if you watch, you see that I'm not marking the lines straight down, like a straight line. If you look at it, it's looking like a slant line. Can you see? So now, I'm going to mark the other parts of the collar, right? I'm going to mark out the 2 inches and just connect it from my front to my back. Please hope you understand. If you understand, let me know. And then you connect it. Okay? Can you see the shape of the collar? Are you seeing the shape? Now, please, very important, I want us to make sure that we label our center back and our center front. After that, we'll mark half an inch for our joining and turning allowance because they're going to be turning your collar with half an inch allowance. So you have to mark that allowance. Do you get? By the sides and on top so that you use the allowance to join it to the neck part of your fabric. Can you see? So you add half inch joining allowance to your collar like so. Do you get? So when you add the half inch allowance, then you cut. Please remember to add your allowance. It's very important. Because if you don't add the allowance, that means your collar will not sit perfectly. It will not even, you can't sew it well. It's not going to sit perfectly on your neckline. So you just mark your half inch allowance like so on all the sides round and you connect it. Please, if you can't do a freehand, please use your curved ruler. Okay? If you can't do a freehand, use your curved ruler and then you label your lines. Okay? Okay, so when you are done labeling our lines, center front, the center back, now we have to cut out our pattern. Okay, so this pattern for the collar, we are going to cut 4 pieces, right? You cut 2 for your main fabric and then cut 2 for your lining. Okay, but if you're using the same material for both the front and the back, that's the inner and the outer layer, that means you're going to cut 4 pieces of your main fabric. Do you get? So I'm using this white silk material for my collar. I'm going to cut 4 pieces for it. I don't want to use a collar, a lining for it. All right. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces. Now we're cutting 4 pieces because we're going to use one piece to turn the other part, right? So that's why we're cutting 4 pieces. Hope you understand this part. So when we're done cutting our collar, the next thing we're going to do now is to start sewing it. We're almost through with this tutorial. Okay, so now you can decide to add a strong gum stay to your collar. You can decide to add a strong gum stay to just give it firmness. All right, to give it firmness if you are working with a soft material. But if you're working with a hard material like crepe or strong cotton material, you don't necessarily need to use a gum stay. Okay, so if you're using a soft material, you can use a strong gum stay. So now I've cut my pattern. Can you see? This is how the collar is going to look. Please remember to label the front part. Okay, remember to mark the front part. All right, because the front and the back, they are not the same thing. Hope you understand. So now for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to place your fabric so that you'll be able to sew it. Now you are going to close the bottom and then the front part. Can you see? You're going to close the front part. I'm just labeling that front part. So you're going to close, that's turn up the front and turn up the bottom of your collar. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're going to turn off the front. So I've marked the front part. Okay, now you're going to join it. You're going to join the front part and the bottom part. Okay, now if you want your collar not to be joined to the back part, that's your center back, you can join the front part and your back part. But in the case of this tutorial, I want the collar to be inside the zipper allowance area. Okay, so I'm not going to be closing the back part. All right, so this is how you're going to turn up your collar. So this is what I was saying, you can use your strong gum stay when you're working with a fabric that is very soft. All right, when you're working with a fabric that is very soft, you can use your soft gum stay to give it firmness. All right, so now I'm going to turn it up so that we'll see how the collar is going to look. So when you're done, just match down the up parts and the back parts, and then please always remember to iron your work. Okay, so I'm done ironing, I'm done turning up. This is how my collar looks. Can you see how neat it's looking? Our work is beginning to come out well. Now the next thing we're going to do is to fix our collar. Now to give our work a neat work, there are some people that when they fix their collar, the part where they joined the collar, you'll be seeing it. It will be showing a very rough work. So the first thing you need to do is that center point that we marked on the neckline. You place the front part there, and then you pin down one part. Okay, now the trick in fixing a collar, you first of all have to sew it inside. You have to sew it on the inner part of your neck. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's when you open your dress up, you first of all join the collar to the neck part from the inside, not from the outside. Can you see that I'm joining it from the inner part? So I'm going to sew it right round. Okay, and then I'm done sewing it. Can you see? I'm done sewing it. Now I'm going to turn it to the front. Can you see that the neck part is neat? Can you see the neck area? Can you see that it's very neat? The stitches are not showing. So that's why you have to first place it first of all at the back part, join it to the neck, and then turn it up. Okay, now when you turn, can you see how it's looking? Can you see how neat it's looking? So the next thing you're going to do is to just match it down. Okay, you're going to match it down inside. Can you see the reason why we first of all sewed it from the back, not from the front? Please hope you understand this part. You first of all sew it from the back, then you flip it over. Right, now we're going to match it down. Now if you want to match it down, make sure you're matching down the excess of the collar part on the main fabric. Can you see? Can you see where I'm matching it down? So you match down the neck right round, and we are good to go with our collar. So if you have any question up to this point, let me know in the comment section, and I'll try my best to explain better. But the most important thing is to watch the video, watch the steps that I'm taking, and do the same thing when you're making yours, and you're good to go. So I've matched it down and my collar is ready. Now the next thing to do for this outfit is very simple, is to fix your zip at the back part. All right, you fix your zip at the back part. Can you see? You fix your zip, and then the next thing you're going to do after fixing your zip is to fold the bottom part. All right, attach your sleeves, shape the dress, and you are good to go. So you first of all add all your designs on this outfit. Okay, the front part design, your collar, and then your outfit is ready. So guys, this is how to make this collar gown and this design on it. I hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope you understand it, and if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Welcome to my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for commenting. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate. And please, if this tutorial was helpful to you, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. See you on my next tutorial. Bye.